Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Ben from Electric Telepathy. Today I'm going to talk about a cool new plugin called Tape Wobbler. Tape Wobbler is basically a pitch modulation plugin that simulates the sound of old tape, that kind of wow and flutter, but it does so in a way that's very different from any other tape emulator on the market. So one of the ways that it does that is by use of a third control called shape, which I'll show you in a second. But before we get into that, I'll show you the basic sound on just a sine wave. And you can see I can adjust the depth, I can adjust the rate, and it's kind of like a simple vibrato effect, which is really cool. That's a great sound, but it's not that different from a lot of other pitch modulators out there. A lot of synthesizers have this effect as like an LFO, pitch modulation, coarse tune, or fine tune. But Tape Wobbler is just a really easy way you can just throw it onto a track, whether it has a synth on it or it really can be used on guitar, it can be used on piano. We'll listen to all those in this video. So we have that basic vibrato sound, right? And then the cool like new feature that's on Tape Wobbler is the shape slider. And the shape slider all the way to the right sounds like vibrato, what we already listened to. And as you move it to the left, it sounds less like a wow and more like a flutter. And the pitch effects are more intermittent. So you can hear what it's going to sound like right now. I'm just changing the note so it doesn't get too stale. So all the way to the left, it's a very quick flutter. So the cool part about Tape Wobbler is you can kind of get in between a wow and a flutter, and you can get those intermittent pitch effects. And so, for example, like right around here, I use it very often around just a little bit to the left of far right. Excuse me. So you can hear kind of what it's doing very clearly on the sine wave. So let's listen to it in context with the guitar part. So without the Tape Wobbler. Okay, let's put the Tape Wobbler on now. So you can hear it kind of has this sound like it was recorded on old cassette. It immediately makes it a little bit more lo-fi. And I know you're probably listening back in mono right now because of the screen capture software that I'm using. But if you listen in stereo, I actually usually recommend converting to mono after using the Tape Wobbler if you're going for that lo-fi degraded sound. But if you're not going for that, you could also put Tape Wobbler earlier in the signal chain before your delays, before your reverbs. And then you get a delay sound, or excuse me, a chorus sound. Even before the guitar emulation software. And what's cool about it is you can change not only the depth and rate, but the shape. And most chorus effects don't let you change all of those different things. So it's very predictable, regular sine wave shape. It's just that depth and rate. But now you have a third option. So if you're messing around with it as a chorus effect, you have even more options. It's going to be even further noticeable on lower frequencies, warmer sounds like piano. So let's listen to it on piano. And actually, I'll show you. I can make the screen even bigger. Change it to large or huge. If you really want to show it off. But let's put it on large so you can see it a little better. So on piano without Tape Wobbler. with it, we'll do like just a simple vibrato first. And then make it a little more intermittent. And this is especially useful if you have kind of a repetitive part that's just pedaling on 2 notes or something. You can use Tape Wobbler to give it more character. Whether it's piano or guitar or synth, it will give it more character and make it more interesting to listen to, because you're not just listening to a pure, perfect tone the entire time. It gives it a little bit more character, and you can throw it through some saturation, give it some grit. But Tape Wobbler is great for making a part a little bit more interesting. And so there's a lot of different uses. You can even use it on drums if you're using a lot of samples that are repetitive and you're hitting the same samples over and over again. You can use Tape Wobbler to give each sample a slightly different pitch while staying perfectly in time. That way, every time you hear it, each snare drum or kick drum or hi-hat is going to have a little bit high or a little bit lower pitch to it, which makes it a little more interesting to listen to. There's a lot of different ways to use Tape Wobbler. If you've tried it out and you have some more ideas, definitely comment below, and it's available now on electrictelepathy.com.